What's good, everybody? This is Wolf94, and it's been a while, but I'm going to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game once again. I think I haven't talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time. I've only put one video talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! But I want to give you guys a little rant once again. I've opened up a Duelist Saga booster box recently, and it got me thinking. Well, before I opened it up, I was thinking this shit. But it got me thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fucking banlist system that I know is fucked up, many people know is fucked up, and why I think rotations are probably better for Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. So when you kind of think about it, most TCGs, at least to my knowledge, work with rotations. Pokemon works with rotations. I'm pretty sure Magic the Gathering works with rotations too. And other card games, I'm not really sure, but they might be working, they might be used with rotations as well. And either way, I mean, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic the Gathering are the biggest trading card games anyway. The thing is, though, I actually kind of know, at least I think I do, why Yu-Gi-Oh has the balance system. It started with the balance system and not with rotations. It's because of how it was. So compared with Pokemon, that actually started broken and just gradually kind of found its sort of balance, maybe you could say, its style of play. I don't know if that makes sense, but compared with Pokemon that started broken, Yu-Gi-Oh actually started slow. There were FTKs, there were crazy shit like that, but when a set got released, like compare the first Pokemon set with the first Yu-Gi-Oh set, and like a number of Yu-Gi-Oh sets after the first set, like maybe even like the first 12 sets, maybe, God knows, I don't know, but all of the sets from Blue Eyes White Dragon, Metal Raiders, Spare Ruler, all those sets, they would have, let's say, X number of cards, let's say 100 or 60, the way that Japan released them, but most of the cards were just a bunch of normal monsters with no effect, and I'm not talking beat sticks like Gemini Elf and Force Raider. I'm talking about all of the useless ass cards that really just had almost no reason to be used, aside from not having access to all of the cards, having access to the best beat sticks and what have you. So most of the sets, the original Yu-Gi-Oh sets, were just filled with useless ass shit. Okay? Yeah, they were just filled with all those useless ass normal monsters. And back then, I guess they weren't useless. They just became useless thanks to the pathetic evolution of Yugioh, the way they decided to fuck it up after the XYZs and what have you. But yeah, so you would have all those normal monsters and a bunch of good ass cards like Mirror Force and Monster Reborn and broken cards like Fiber Jaw or fucking Ring of Destruction and what have you. So this is how Yu-Gi-Oh started. So when cards were just broken and they just had to be removed and just do stuff like remove them and shit, they couldn't just do, okay, we're just gonna fucking use a rotation so we can remove the set that fucking Fiber Jar comes in and Chaos Envoy of the End comes in and what have you. Man, what the fuck, is that a plane? Anyway, but yeah. Because they would also get rid of all of the other cards that were kind of didn't mean any harm. So the ban list system started. Okay, so they banned, okay, the first card, Chaos Envoy of the End, the Chaos Emperor Dragon. Okay, banned. He was the most broken shit. And then other shit got banned and stuff like that, and it became that, okay, it's going to be the ban list system. There's not going to be a rotation. We don't need to rotate the shit. They can just have all the cards be used. They're compatible with each other. They can just be used. There's no problems. But since, time passed and the Yu-Gi-Oh game started to evolve and started to become more broken and introduce new mechanics and all that stuff, the banlist system just became a complete clusterfuck. It makes jack shit sense, and I mean, I know no matter what they do, people just aren't going to agree what the right list is and what the right hits should be and what have you. But I think most people are going to agree that there's just some cards on the ban list that really just don't need to be there, or just never should have been there in the first place, or just a lot of weird things that don't make any fucking sense. And you could just find ways to justify why other cards should be banned and why other cards shouldn't be banned and what have you. And it's just a complete clusterfuck system. The only way for the ban list system to kind of make sense is if you kind of think of it of Konami's way of, okay, this is the ban list they decided on. They just decide on whatever they decide, and I just work with whatever they decide. If you have that mentality, then great. You don't care about the ban list. And I kind of looked at it like that too for a very long time because there's no other way to look at it. I really don't think there's any other way to look at it. If you try to use logic for the ban list system, then you go crazy. But at this point, it's a complete clusterfuck. The list is just so big, and they know it's so big that they're trying to errata cards and just get rid of cards, but it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And, yeah, maybe they're going to keep making the game more broken and more broken and more broken, and they'll be able to get rid of and unban and unlimit shit that's already there. But at the end of the day, it's still a clusterfuck. And I really feel like if rotations existed like Pokemon, then the game would have been better, and maybe I would have kind of been playing too, because I would have been forced to play with the new shit and play with the stuff that comes out from the latest sets, and then maybe it will make sense to me, and it will make sense to other people. One of the complaints people have about Yu-Gi-Oh, and not just the ban list, is that is that there's an intense power creep. A lot of the stuff that you want to use or the Konami tells you to kind of use in the starter decks they release and what have you, it's just useless stuff. They just don't work. They release X amount of archetypes, and a lot of them you might be thinking, cool, okay, I want to use them, and they suck anyway. And if you want to use old shit, like maybe stuff that's older and you want to kind of tweak your deck and what have you, it's not like Pokemon where maybe it still has some sort of fighting chance. It has no fucking chance in hell. You can't use it at all. It's just shit. It's just too much of a power creep. Like most of the thousands of cards that are available, even though technically all cards are available, if they're not on the ban list, they're just useless. They might as well not have existed. You know? That's what I feel like. If there was rotations, it would have been better because then the shit goes out the window and you kind of, okay, we kind of have to accept that a rotation happened. And, if I want to play the old shit, you got to play other formats. Like with Pokemon, they have expanded. Magic of the Gathering has has all sorts of formats. They've had them for a long time. Unlimited formats and, legacy formats, what have you. I don't know their names. But I imagine Yu-Gi-Oh would have something like that too. You got the Synchro format era maybe, or the XYZ format era maybe, and all those shits, and it would have worked perfectly. This is basically kind of what they've done with the Generations Duel Tournament, kind of just trying to tidy things up and make things more format based. Like you got the Synchro format, XYZ format, Pension format, all that stuff. But it's kind of not enough. I mean, I understand that Yu-Gi-Oh is a completely different animal than Pokemon too, and just some cards are going to be broken anyway. But yeah, okay, they're going to be banned. Pokemon has some banned cards too, but that doesn't mean there's need to be a banlist system with no rotations. And I mean, think about it too. Like one of my best friend that thinks that rotations are shit because you can't have access to all the cards and what have you, and you would lose some of the best cards, for example, and shit. I mean, think about this anyway. Like, Konami fucking releases reprint products all the fucking time, like a million times anyway. So all the cards like MST and Mirror Force and all those, the cards that maybe, I guess, we supposed to keep them around, they're kind of going to be available anyway. So you have a lot of the reprinted cards that get reprinted a million times anyway, like MST and I can't really think of anything else now, but you guys get the idea. All of the reprints, like with the Duelist Saga set, and other stuff like Rivals of the Pharaoh, and the other sets like the Legendary Collections and what have you. You have a lot of that old shit anyway to work with, and then you kind of forced to, okay, we got to use the new shit. These are the latest sets. These are the legal sets for competitive play for the standard format. I kind of have to use those sort of thing. It would make the game much better like that. I feel like it kind of makes everyone to be on the same page, on the same boat, and the complainers are going to be less. Like there's going to be less complainers because they won't really have shit to complain. This is the standard format. If you don't like it, you play other formats or what have you. And I mean, I know that we can kind of decide on our own and just play our own formats anyway, like with Pokemon and what have you, but it's just different when you kind of do want to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's just one format, standard format, and it has all these fucking sets and a fucking pathetic of an excuse, banlist system that doesn't work. Want to use your shit since is the standard format, you want to use your old shit, and you can't. And I feel like it's kind of annoying because that's what happened for me, and I think for many people. Because we still have the option to use our older decks, I guess, or our favorite decks. Like for me, it's fucking like Teledad, D-Hero, um, Dark Law, Shadow Mist kind of decks variants, is shit like this that I've used for a long time. And forever, basically, not for a long time. Since that deck is still available, I kind of opt to use it. Kind of use it and see, okay, how is this going to go against this new shit and what have you. But if the rotations existed and I kind of was forced to, okay, this deck is going to rotate out, this shit is going to rotate out, I can't make it work, I have to use new shit. It puts everyone on the same page. So then when you're using the new shit, you're getting the hang of the new shit, you're getting the hang of the new metagame, how Yu-Gi-Oh is played. And maybe you're kind of going to get used to it like that. You'll get, okay, this is the format right now. Maybe you're still going to hate it because I did play decks like Lunalight and tried, other stuff, but it's just not good, man. It's just fucking ass, broken ass game that you play not to lose. You don't play to win. You just play to put yourself in a position not to lose. You just lock your opponent out or either win in one turn. And it's not the like OTK win in one turn cool fashion. It's the like cheap ass OTK win in one turn shit fashion. Maybe you guys think this is biased. Maybe you guys think it doesn't make sense. But I do definitely think that compared to how Yu-Gi-Oh was back, let's say from the fucking synchro era to how it is now, it has become crazy. It has become like a completely different game. Like they don't even know what they're doing anymore. Because of their insistence that they have to release a new mechanic every 3 years, it isn't the same game anymore, basically. It's crazy. That's how I feel, at least. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think. If you think rotations would be a good idea, if you think it sucks. I know most people are gonna say it sucks. I think I was one of them too. Once upon a time, I thought that wow, just rotations are bad, banlists are better. But I kind of understand that rotations is just the more correct way to balance the game out and keep the game kind of fresh and in a healthy state is the best way because the banlist system is just a complete clusterfuck. And the thing is with the banlist system, this I know like there's no way anyone is gonna disagree with this, no matter if you even if you think all of that I've said in this video is bullshit. But one of the other fucking things of the banlist system is that fucking Konami releases it basically at random. It used to be every 6 months and they decided to change that, and understandable, just a fucking ban list every 6 months was kind of maybe too much. Maybe. So them doing when they changed it to be like every 4 months and stuff like that, that was cool. But then they decided they're just gonna release it anytime. It took 7 months, it took 3 months, it took like 2.5 months sometimes. It's just anything that felt like it. And not to mention all of the shit where emergency ban lists happen. And that's because, of course, because things are broken and crazy and not even they can control the shit. Emergency ban lists haven't happened many times, only a couple of times, but it just shows it's a great example of, the ban list system just can't work anymore. Happened with the Pepe shit recently, and with the Dark Arm Return, of course, my favorite deck. And I guess if you want to count the fucking Steins Gate shit for Upper Deck, were kind of the emergency ban list, basically. I don't think any other one happened, but I could be wrong. Maybe one of them with spirals that happened recently. I don't know if this was a regular ban list or if it was some sort of emergency ban list. I think it only happened in Japan. I have no idea. But yeah, that's another thing where they release the ban list anytime they want to. That's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. It's fine if you disagree. I get that it's hard to really accept things like rotations when the only game you played is Yu-Gi-Oh! And you haven't really experienced how rotations can work and what have you, but it really isn't that bad once you get the hang of them. And I'm pretty sure many people agree that just the banlist system for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a complete joke. It's just a fucking joke at this point. It has been a joke for a long time anyway. And I mean, like I've said, since they fucking designed the banlist so that the new shit is gonna be able to be used, just make a rotation anyway. That's like the honest way about it anyway. You reprint a lot of the other shit, the old shit anyway. I know you want to use us to use the stuff from the latest sets so that we buy the new products. Everybody knows that too. So since you want to do that anyway, there's no need for a banlist system and for all the cards to be like available. It just doesn't make sense. It just makes like a fake game, and this is how it creates all of these problems and people like me complaining and what have you. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys subscribe, leave a like I've said, share this with your friends. Saberwolf94, and what's up?